الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا رحمة للعالمين أبي القاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين لعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين اللهم كن لوليك المقتدر الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا ومعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها قليلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه.
All praise and glory belongs to Allah, the provider, the sustainer, who has given us an opportunity that if we wanted to, with our power of choice, we can make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as our guarantor. We can give him the power of attorney for our affairs, and we can let him make the decisions for us. One of the things that I was mentioning to you about true happiness, part of it, the Quran tells us to have tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tawakkul we translate into English as reliance. So this word reliance, it doesn't, if you look at a child, it always wants to be independent. Like as soon as they are aware, they will say, I want to do something on my own. Like before that, you were giving them food, they were eating fine, putting the spoon in the child's mouth. But as they grow up a little bit, they'll say, no, I want to eat myself. Or I want to change myself. Or I'm going to walk myself. I don't need you to hold my hand. So in a way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed this inside of us that you should have this sense of independency. The sense of independency was given to us so that we don't feel that we are dependent of others. That we live a life of nobility, of dignity. We don't submit to other people. We don't put our hands in front of other people to give us something. That we could stand on our own. And by doing that, if someone comes and asks for help, we can give them the help, but not feel as if we are, independent in helping them. Right? So this sense of independence has been given so that we don't feel dependent on the people. But then, if we don't change that direction of this independency, because this word reliance has a natural rebellion inside of us, that we don't like to rely. Right? When you say that you should rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or do tawakkul, there's a natural rebellion that a human being will have. And if they don't have this sense of rebellion, they will not be accepting the results of their efforts in a way that they will submit to it and say, I don't feel bad just because I asked for something and I didn't get it. So this sort of translation of reliance, it doesn't get us that place. It doesn't get us where we are truly reliant on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other thing too, He has given us the power of choice. He has given us the ability to work. He has given us the ability to be responsible. Response and ability. He's given both of those things to us. So when it comes to reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the question also comes to our minds that how much am I supposed to do and what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala supposed to do? And then the other way we look at reliance is that they say that, okay, you do your effort and leave the result on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So which means that you still have to do effort. Now, that way of thinking too is getting you reliance on your own self for the effort. Not that you're relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're only relying on the result that is there. But if you think about it, even your effort, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't give you the ability to respond, you cannot. Right? So because of this word, the way we translate it, and in Urdu, we just say tawakkul. We don't really have any explanation because we use the word anyways, so we just say do tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in the beginning, as I mentioned to you, it is to make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as your guarantor. Right? It is to give the power of attorney to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One word in Urdu that we do use, it's vakil, is from the same family of tawakkul. We say vakil meaning someone who's going to represent you in a court of law where they're going to try to get you, right? Either you're the defendant or you are the plaintiff, but they are representing you. But still the judgment is on the judge, right? Not on the vakil, right? So that also doesn't really makes all of the angles to fall in place, and that's why we end up getting confused. And as we get more confused, if we say that okay, it's completely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doing everything, then we go into jabr. And if we say that we have complete freedom, then we go into tafweez. Right? And then when, for Shia Mazhab, when, there's a famous tradition, you probably have heard of it already, when the Imam was asked that, is it jabr or tafweez? And then Imam says, no, it's bain al-amrayn. And then the way we understand it is that little bit of jabr and a little bit of tafweez. Right? Now, if jabr is going in the wrong direction and tafweez is going in the wrong direction, if you bring the two together, what do you get? You don't get something positive. Right? Two negatives, they don't make a positive. Right? It's still negative. Now, the people who are believing in jabr, they don't have the misguidance of tafweez. And the people who believe in tafweez, they don't have the misguidance of jabr. Right? So amr bain al-amrayn doesn't mean little bit of jabr and a little bit of tafweez. What it means is a third way. It is a way that is neither jabr nor tafweez. It's another way. So, now this gets into the topic of qaza and qadar. Right? The reason why I'm bringing these subjects up, although they require longer explanation, but these are things that if you can sort out, a lot of your daily aspects of your life or the scenarios that come up. For example, you have to get a job, you apply. Right? When you apply, you say, okay, you're waiting for the answer. You will say, okay, I have to rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whether I get this job or not. Now, when you don't get the job, what do you say? It wasn't written for me. Now, when you say it wasn't written for me, that's it. You don't look back at your resume, you don't look back at your interview, you don't look back whether you had actually made the proper requirements for the position that you were applying. Right? And then if there are things that you've done all your effort and then the result doesn't come and you're asking for the right thing, it's not like you're asking for a wrong thing. And if the result doesn't come, then again the person goes into the mind that, okay, must not have been written for me. But that statement doesn't comfort the person. Just because you say it wasn't written for me, it doesn't comfort you. And then when husband and wife fight, they say, my destiny was wrong that I married you. Because it was, why? Because marriages are written in the sky. Right? They're written by angels. So the connection is made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So now, because we didn't have anything to do with it, and we got, we're married, so if it's not going right, then my destiny was bad. Or maybe the angel made a mistake, they were supposed to go to someone else, and they came to, right? So if you look at this concept, is almost every single day we are faced with the concept of tawakkul, the concept of predestination versus free will. And these are topics that if we get sorted in our minds, so many things get resolved. See? Now, I'm going to try to tackle it, not necessarily that we will get to a complete conclusion, but I will give you the summary of things. And then you can think and see if it makes sense or not. Okay? So if you can recite the summary.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
What is the third way? When you look at the word qada and qadr. Qada and qadr. In Arabic, qada means rules. Like a qazi, he makes a decision, right? Laws, right? Qazi is the one who utilizes those laws and makes a judgment, right? Qada. And then qadr is specified. It's a specified, it's quantified, it's a shape.
From God?
No, like qadr, the word qadr in Arabic.
Does it mean from God?
No, the word qadr in Arabic means specified. Or a measure or form, shape, qadr of things. Okay? So there's two words, qaza and qadr. So qaza is rules, laws, and qadr means specified, measure.
It's not a destiny?
Distinct, unique, you can also call that.
Yeah,
Qadr, you can also call that. But I just want you to know the topic is qaza and qadr. Let's give the meaning of these two words, then we try to understand. Okay? Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so qaza is rules, laws. Qadr is specified, unique, you can also say that, measured. Now, Ahlulbayt, which is the realm of creation. Everything that you see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created comes in Ahlulbayt. Right? So this universe, the sky, the earth, the planets, the stars, the galaxies, you, me, right? All of this that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created comes in the system of taqweem. Right? Go on, we mentioned that to be and kainat is that is in existence. See? Now, we know that all of this universe is made by Allah by specific measured laws. There is a law that the earth has to go around the sun. There is a law that it has to travel 63,000 kilometers per hour. This is how fast the earth is revolving, going around the sun. The law is it also rotates about 23.5, or the angle is changing on its own axle, right? On its own axle. We know that the law is this is north, this is south, this is east-west. Okay? So all of these laws you study in sciences, and they're all specified. Right? They're all specified. So we understand that the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the creation is not a random event. It's not just like Big Bang. It's based on laws that are quantified, that are specific. And He does not break any of His laws. Okay, because if a person is wise, you've made a law, then if you break it, or if you change it, that means you did not know the application of that law. Right? So it's not like our laws. We make a law, then we change it. Later on we change it. Because we don't know what the future is. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is absolute in knowledge. So He knows past, present, and future. So if He makes a law, he's not going to break it, and there will be no exception in it. Clear? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, because the system of creation is based like that, so is the system of tashri'. Alam-e-tashri' is also made on specified or quantified laws. Now, the book that tells you the specified, quantified laws of Alam-e-tashri' is Quran. Thank you. You're going to say this?
Abraham is from God.
Yes. If you're going to say this out. Okay. So now, both of these alams are made by specified, quantified laws. If you were to follow in both of these alams the quantified laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you'll always get the same result. You'll always get the same result. Now, why? Because He made it this way. If the seed is sown and has all of the requirements for that seed, it will definitely grow. There's no exception. Now, this definitive, we start thinking as predestination. It's not predestination. It's definitive. Why? Because it's based on specified laws. Right? It's not that it's written somewhere in a book. No, it's not written somewhere. The laws that He has created, the whole universe, if those laws are applied in that quantified form, definitely that thing will happen. You know what I mean? Like if the law is you put your hand in fire, it burns. Yes? True? Is this based on specific laws? Now you say, oh, I can find an exception. Okay? You find an exception, and the exception is Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. I don't know if you remember or not, since we were doing the quiz, so maybe I'll ask you. Do you remember what age Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam was when he was thrown by the manjeek, by the catapult? 16, yes. So at the age of 16-year-old, right? He's been thrown by a catapult in a fire that is so big that you cannot go close to throw him in. Like you can't go 5 or 6 feet and then throw him. No, you can't because it's so big. So they had to throw him from the catapult, right? And he's in air, and Hazrat Ibrahim comes and he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent me, hold my hand, protect you. He says, no. Says, okay, ask, do dua then, that you are protected, that you're not burned. Hazrat Ibrahim said, no. Right. What is the third? He says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching me. If He wills that I burn, I burn. If He wills that I don't burn, I don't burn. He knows my condition. Right? Now, when Hazrat Ibrahim gets there, the burden was salama, like the fire is very comfortable. It became cool, but a very comfortable cool. Burdan was salama. Otherwise, if the fire had not, Allah had not said salama, then it would have been so freezing that Hazrat Ibrahim would freeze. So he said to the fire, Burdan was salama, like comfortable temperature. Right? So, now you will say, okay, this is an exception. It's not an exception. It is an exception to us because that law for us has not been discovered. It's not an exception to the law. There's another law involved in there that is quantified and specified. We just haven't discovered it. Because we haven't discovered it, we think that it's an exception to the law. It's not. With me? Yes. Now, how can you in Alam Tashri get to it? Right? If you want to have, how do you in Alam Tashri? Because this is a matter of Alam Tashri and also Alam Takween. Fire is Takween, created. Hazrat Ibrahim ﷺ having a choice is Alam Tashri. Right? So now, the law is this: if you want for fire to become Bardam wa Salama, the law is this, that Hazrat Jibreel ﷺ came. He's from Allah's mother. He's saying that hold my hand. But the state that Hazrat Ibrahim ﷺ is in that state, he says no. Why? Because in that state, he feels that even if I take the hand of Hazrat Ibrahim ﷺ, I am doing less tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Second is that, do dua. It's the law. You do dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala listens. But he's in the state that he is in, he feels that the dua is also going to be less of a tawakkul, so he doesn't do it. So now if you want that to happen, you have to get to that level of tawakkul of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. If you do, then the fire will become bardam wa salam. With me. So now, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created Alam Tashri and Alam Takween is based on specified laws. We as human beings, we have interaction with creation. We have interaction with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have an interaction with the Creator. With me? We have an interaction with the Creator and we have the interaction with the creation. Now, when we are interacting with the creation, sometimes we feel that we have total control. Right? We have total control. Because we feel that we have total control, we tend to go towards the freeze. You know? It's all free, like complete ikhtiyar, complete freedom. Now, when we have interaction with the creation, sometimes we feel, this is the important part, we feel that we don't have complete freedom, we don't have complete control. Right? Like, for example, you're in the car, you feel you have complete control. You've given a time to someone, you're going to be there. You call the person, I will be there at 10:30. You're not saying inshallah. It's different, like when we say inshallah, generally when we don't want to do something. When we don't want to do something, we say inshallah. When we want to do something, we don't say inshallah. I'll be there. Now you're on the road, what happened? Accident. Okay, road closed. Now road closed, accident, you're getting late. What do you say to the guy, the person? You message him, you say, I'm sorry, I cannot make it at 10:30. Out of my control, there was traffic, or there was construction, or there was an accident. Now what happened? Job. I have no control. So when we interact with creation, we get this feeling of the freeze or jabr. But that doesn't mean there is the freeze or jabr. What it means is that there is amr bain al-amrain, meaning what? There are specified laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you have not discovered, or you feel in front of those laws that you have no control or you have complete freedom. With me? Yeah. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Okay? It's pretty cool, okay? It's pretty cool if you understood it, because it's not, this thing, human beings, especially the ones who are religious, have been fighting over this. Whether it's predestination or it is free will. If you've understood this part, then all of the knowledge you have of free will or predestination, or when you think of things, if you understand this precedent, you can utilize this precedent on everything that you know. And you will see that there will be a third way. It won't be the same. Right?
Yeah.
So in reliance, if you just use the word reliance, then there is a sort of natural rebellion, and also the question how far you can go, how far Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then if you say that everything is the actions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then what am I supposed to do? Then you get into this feeling of jabr. And if you say, okay, he's given me ikhtiyar, there's saza and jaza, then you get this feeling of tafweez. Really? So now, it's basically a feeling that human beings have, and they want to justify this feeling by having a 2, 3, 4, 10,000 year debate, whether it's predestination versus free will. If we can cite a song. We can have a test on that too, you know. So, tawakkul was part of the 6 things where Quran teaches us for true happiness. Now, if you just look at what I've just said and think about it, if you have that in your life, look, this feeling I'm getting, it's a feeling. Not that it is predestined, neither it's my free will, 100% free will. It's something that I'm feeling. Now, with this feeling, if you were to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you were to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I don't know all of your laws. I don't know all of your specified laws. I am here asking that if according to those specified laws, I can have this, please give it to me. And if according to those specified laws, I cannot, then give me the patience that I don't feel as if, bad feelings that I didn't get something. So now you're not, this feeling, you're not entertaining of jabr or tafweez. You're actually saying to us, I understand that you have laws. I understand they're all specified. I don't know all of them. You know all of them. So therefore, I give you the power of eternity. Imam Ali said that when you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what you want, ask for everything that you want. But when He gives it to you, and even if it's not what you have wanted, say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's what I wanted. So you don't develop this feeling that I did not get what I asked for. The reason why it's very important is because it has a direct link to reliance. You will rely on a person who always gives you what you ask for, rather than the person who sometimes gives you what you ask for and sometimes doesn't. Out of the 2 people, they give you whatever you ask for, but the other who gives you sometimes and sometimes not, who are you going to go to?
First one is.
Yeah. So, you see, then who are you relying on? The person who gives you everything that you want. And you don't go to the person who gives you sometimes and doesn't give you sometimes. This is the way we build relationship with Allah. You say, okay, I've asked this and He hasn't given to me. Maybe what I should do is go to this person who's always given to me. My credit rating is good. I go to bank, give me credit card, give me money, give me all of this. I should go to the bank. When banks say no, then you go, Allah, Allahumma. But before Allahumma, you go bank. Bank say no, Allahumma. Right? So our relationship becomes like that because we are certain that because my credit is good, bank will give me. But just in case it doesn't, then we start. No. So that was just one of the 6, and we got only 4 of the 4 hours basically, and not 3.5 hours now for us us to be able to go through all of those fire. So sabr I have gone through yesterday, although it's not part of the, or some not here, it's not part of the 6 that okay. But sabr was one of the pillars of sabr was one of the pillars of iman that we discussed yesterday. The tradition from Imam Ali is a short saying, number 31. Somebody, Su'ila alayhi salam anil iman. Somebody asked Imam Ali about iman. Faqala, Imam said, al-imanu ala arba da'aim. Iman is on 4 da'aim, 4 pillars, tombs, ala sabr. So one is sabr, wal yaqeen, wal adl, wal jihad. So on 4. Right? Iman is on 4 pillars. Right? And then for the sabr, we said that sabr is also on, the pillar is on 4 parts. So the 4 parts, one was shock, like the Arabic shock, Urdu shock, motivation, right? Or desire, or wanting, fear, right? Zuhud and tarakkub. Okay, so 4. So Imam, now I'll just go very quickly because we went yesterday, that if someone is wanting heaven, it will be easy for them, salah and shahwa. It will be easy for that person to let go of their desires. Okay? They will be more content. They will not fall into their lower desires because they are wanting heaven. They are desiring heaven. And heaven is the absolute attainment of all desires that you can ever think of. So because they know they're going to get there, therefore it becomes easy for them in this world not to go after every desire that they have. Right? This one. Now, as far as fear, if someone fears the hellfire, then Imam says that it will be easier for that person to ijtanab, to go away from muharramat, from the things that are haram. Because if a person is afraid of the hellfire, we don't want to burn in hellfire, so it becomes this fear, it helps us to stay away from muharramat, from things that are forbidden. And zuhud, he says that if someone has zuhud, it will be easier for them to handle the difficulties or the balas of this world, the tests, the difficulties, the hardships. If someone has zuhud, it will be easier for them. Zuhud in the Quranic light means, zahid is a person that if they were to gain something, they are not excited, they are not happy, they don't change their state. And if they lose something, they are not sad or regretful, they don't change their state. Meaning the person's state doesn't change by gain or loss. With me? So that is the person who has zuhud. Now if you think about it, someone actually has zuhud, then the difficulties of this world would be very easy. Right? Something you lost, okay? Right? Something you feel you gained, it's okay. When I say it's okay, doesn't mean that you don't say thank you to Allah. It doesn't mean that you're not glad that Allah has blessed you. It's just that you don't change in that state. How? Like if I was to say, okay, I'll give you my tablet, like as a gift. It's an old one, but it's still, I think, pretty valid here. Right? I think it's about $900. So with the keyboard, it's probably close to 1,000. So I say, okay, so I'll say to you, I'll give you the tablet. Now when you are walking towards me to get the tablet, what will happen? First there'll be like excitement, okay, I'm getting a new tablet, and then everyone's watching, I'm getting it, and then I'll give you, and you'll be like, thank you very much. And when you go back on the seat, you are very happy and you're looking and you're excited that I'm going to go home and open the tablet and find out all the notes of Moulana, and then I get go and test everyone and ask them all the questions, right?
Dopamine.
Yeah, dopamine. So now the state changed. Quran is saying Zahid is someone, this state doesn't change. Okay? So whether it is gain or whether it is loss. There is a stimulus, there is a reflex of gain, and there is a reflex of loss. But this reflex is natural, but maintaining the state of grounding is by choice. It's not natural. That's where perfection is. That's where Zohad is. That's where Kamal is. It doesn't mean that a person becomes a zombie and doesn't affect anything. No. The stimulus is given. The trigger is there. The reflex is there for gain and loss. But because the person has control over their state, they don't let the state change. With me? So that is a person, by the definition of Quran, as Zahid. So Imam says that if a person has Zohd, then it will be easier for the person to go through any difficulty in life. Because of course the stimulus will be there, the trigger will be there, but the state doesn't change. The person is fine. With me? You know what is the most difficult thing to keep your state grounded? Do you think it's gain or do you think it's loss?
Gain.
50-50? So whoever says loss, we can sign a salawat. Whoever says gain. So most of you said gain, right? When you receive something, when you are happy, when you get something, it's a blessing. When you get that, is harder to maintain than when you lose something. Because when you get something and you're excited and you're happy, it's harder to maintain your grounded state. Because you forget. You forget. But when you lose something, it's easier to ground yourself. Because you know you've lost something and you need to have sabr. You need to show muqabamat. It's easier that way. But when you're blessed with blessings, it's harder to maintain that state. Because you get excited, right? And your grounding state changes. So you need more sabr when you are getting things rather than when you are losing things. Then, وَمَنْ زَاهِدَ فِي الدُّنْيَا اسْتَهَانَ بِالْمُصِيبَاتِ وَمَنْ ارْتَقَبَ الْمَوْتِ سَارَعَ إِلَى الْخَيْرَاتِ. So taraqqub means that you find something to be near. Imam says the fourth sho'ab, or the part of the stone, of the pillar of Iman, which is sabr, right, is that you know, that you are aware, that you remember that death is near. When you know or you're aware that death is near, sara'a ila khairat, then it becomes, for that person, he's very quick in doing good deeds. Why? Because that person knows that I'm going to die. And because I'm going to die and I can die at any time, then they don't let go of an opportunity to do good. Now if you think about sabr the way Imam has described, and that being one of the pillars of Iman, so many things are there that reflects in your day-to-day life. That if we're not able to let go of shahawat, that means that we don't really are motivated or wanting to go to heaven. Because if we were really motivated to go to heaven, it become easier. Like I gave you the example yesterday. I'm a traveler, so I don't buy a car, I did not buy a house, I don't buy furniture, all of these things don't attract me. Why? Because I know I'm a traveler, I'm going to go. Right? So, if we are still, it's difficult for us to let go of our desires, is because, right, maybe we don't really want heaven. Because if we did, it would be easier. If it's difficult, that means we don't really want heaven. If it's hard for us to stay away from sins, that means that we're not really afraid of the hellfire. Because if you're really afraid of the hellfire, it would be easy for us to let go of things that are haram. Right? And if we're still not grounded when it comes to musibat, difficulties, that means that we don't have zord. Just by wearing the dress of zord doesn't make you a zahid. Just by pretending to be a zahid doesn't make you a zahid. Right? Just by pretending to be a Moulana with a baqawai topi doesn't make you a Moulana. Right? What makes you a Moulana or have vilayat over others is when you win their hearts. And in order to win their hearts, you have to be someone that can win their hearts. Imam Ali won the hearts of people. But the hearts that he could not win were the ones that hearts were hardened. They were part of Hubbi Dunya. They had nifaq, they had shirk. But the ones whose hearts did not have that, Imam won those hearts. And had his vilayat on those hearts, like Hazrat Salman, like Hazrat Abu Zar, like Hazrat Maisim Tammar. And for anyone who comes afterwards, Imam Ali will win their heart because of who he is. Not because of a title, right? Not because of the nist that he has, but his actions. Why would someone not win a person's heart when you look at the life of Imam Ali, that he is so concerned about orphans and widows? Someone who's so humble that even a beggar asks him to sit down and he would sit down and eat food. That he's so knowledgeable that he is asking you can ask me anything you want, I will let you know. Right? Who's so brave that no one can stand in front of him. Right? When you look at the way Imam Ali is, of course he's going to win the hearts. Right? So just pretending to be a zahid doesn't make you a zahid. Just to say that I have zord doesn't make you zahid. It is how you deal with difficulties that will determine whether a person is zahid or not. Right? And then if a person is saying that, I think the death is very near, majority of the people, inshallah, we will see you if I'm alive. Right? A lot of people say that in Urdu. They will say, okay, if I'm alive, I will see you next year, or I will see you tomorrow if I'm alive. Even they say for tomorrow. So what? That means that this person is expecting death. So if this person is expecting death, then in their life they should see whether they let go of a good opportunity or not, whether they are hastening towards an opportunity or not. Right? Whether if the people are pushing you to do good, that means that you don't think death is near. Because if I thought death was near, I would not let go of any opportunity. Really? So all of these things reflect in your life, which will tell me whether I have the first pillar of faith or not. Just by saying that I'm a mu'min doesn't make me a mu'min. It is these things that if you have, at least you have how much? 1/4 of Iman. And sabr is one of those stones that is very, very important. But when we say sabr, we don't think of these things. Right? So you can recite the sabr.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajah.
So wal-yaqeen minha ala arba'a shu'ab. So yaqeen also has 4 parts. That stone, that pillar. Ala tabsiratil fitnati. This ta, not ta. Okay? Tabsiratil fitna. Not with the te, ta, with the ta.
What's the first one?
Tabsira.
Tabsara.
Yeah.
Tabsara.
Tabsira. Okay? Yeah. So, tabsira is from basar.
Basira.
Yeah, to see. Okay? And it's to see, but to see the reality, not to be deceived. It's in English they translate as prudent perception, but prudent perception doesn't. Prudent perception. No, prudent perception. This means that someone who can see reality, who is not diluted. Their perception is not diluted by illusion. Their perception sees reality. Okay? So this is one of the part of yaqeen. Yeah? Yes or no?
Yes.
In today's world, our perception is built. Not that we build it, it's built. Okay? When in 95 internet came along, the person who introduced internet because it was an army application or technology, he said that the reason why we are introducing this technology to the public for two things. One is we want to know in real time what they're thinking. And second, we want to let them know what they should think. So when you have that and you're plugged into the internet, that means that a person cannot have tabsiratul fit. You cannot have that. Why? Because your perception is given to you. And whatever you are perceiving is known. And because of these two things, a person will not have that. And Imam is saying that this is part of the first part of yaqeen. Right? Hikmah. And the ability to interpret wisdom. Ta'wil and hikmah. وَمَوْعِزَةِ الْإِبْرَةِ. And advice which is taking lessons from. Ibra means to cross, like you cross a bridge, so you go from one place to another place. Ibra is that. It changes your place. Right? So, the example I can give you, if you translate into English, is taking lessons. But it's not the same thing. I'll give you an example. Like you see a police car. As soon as you see police car, what do?
Drive slow.
Slow down.
You drive slow, put your seatbelt on. If you're on the phone,
Put it down.
you put it down. No, but the police stopped someone else. He didn't stop you. The police stopped somebody else. You don't know why the police stopped them. Right? Whether they were speeding, whether they were on the phone, you don't know. But just because you saw the police stop someone, it made you from there look at your own self. From there, you looked at your own self. When you looked at your own self, you saw that, okay, I have to make sure my seatbelt is there, I'm not on the phone in my speech. Ibra is that. That if something you're taking Ibra from should change your position, from there, you should look at yourself. Right? If you take Ibra from history, you learn about history, but once you learn about history, it's like seeing the police stop someone, then you should look at your own self. Right? When you are reading history about the enemies of Imam Ali, it's not just about reading the history about the enemies of Imam, but from there you look at upon your own self. Do I have any of those qualities that those enemies have? Am I living the same life that these people did? Am I doing the same to my own Imam as these people did to the Imam of the time of that? So you change the place, right? So Mau'izat al-Ibra means the advice that can make you change your state from one state to another state. Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yes? So take Ibrat means
They changed it. Change your state.
Look at others and
Or
take
understand
lessons.
a lesson, like I would say.
yeah, understanding lesson won't change your state.
No, like something happens to you, so I think, okay, I learned something. from it.
Yes, you learn, but it's more like becoming aware of self.
Yeah,
It's not about understanding like words. It's about becoming aware of your
yeah,
state.
something like I wasn't seeing it and I started seeing it.
Yes, more like that. Okay, it's part of your keen, by the way. وسنة الأولين فمن تبصر في الفتنة تبينت له الحكمة. And also the fourth part was the sunnah of the people who have passed. The history of the people of the past. Mau'izat al-Ibra and the people who have passed. So when وَمَنْ تَبَيَّنَتْ لَهُ الْحِكْمَةِ, so now here Imam is saying that all of these four, so now he's putting it into one sentence. Okay? فَمَنْ تَبَصَّرَ فِي الْفِتْنَةِ, so whoever is going to see reality, have perception which is above reality, not that they are given. Not that what internet is saying, not what your news analyst is saying, not what the peer pressure is saying, not what your culture is saying, none of that. Right? If somebody does it, تَبَيَّنَتْ لَهُ الْحِكْمَةِ, then for that person it will become open, clear, له الحكمة, wisdom. Yeah. وَمَنْ تَبَيَّنَتْ لَهُ الْحِكْمَةِ, and for whoever it becomes clear, wisdom becomes clear, عَرَفَ الْإِبْرَةِ, then that person will know or recognize Ibra. Okay? As I said, okay? وَمَنْ عَرَفَ الْإِبْرَةِ فَكَأَنَّمَا كَانَ فِي الْأَوَّلِينَ. And whoever can get to that Ibra, it is as if he has lived with the people of the past. So now again, these are four parts of that stone, that pillar of Yaqeen. So now it also tells us how to acquire conviction. What are the parts for us to acquire conviction? If a person does not see the way the reality is, they cannot get conviction. If they do get conviction, it's not conviction of Iman. It's not a pillar of Iman. It's a conviction, but not the pillar, part of the pillar of Iman. With me? This is happening a lot, and we'll just end on this. This is happening a lot with the current affairs. There's so much bombardment from social media that people are just taking wings here, there, and getting themselves confused. Right? And then they're talking about just the analyst, whatever the analyst says, they just accept whatever the analyst has said, and then come and talk. Right? If you understand what reality is that the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are always going to do what they are doing today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. There will be no exception. That is the way the laws are. That's the sunnah. That is the way things are. The enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will always do such today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. If you understand that, then you will not get all of this stuff that you're getting bombarded by, you're not going to get confused. Right?
Yeah.
With me? And then you can take also, you take Ibra. Like if somebody is telling you, look, they have done this 10 times before. Take Ibra from the previous ceasefire. Take Ibra from previously when they have broken their promise. Take Ibra from what they have done before. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that they will never keep their promise. they can never be your friend. Right? These are the specified laws in Al-Murtaza Tashri'. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us. And if we don't follow those laws, the end result's always going to be the same. With me? So inshallah, we'll go more in detail about the yaqeen part, but one is the definition of iman, right? The other is that it will tell us whether we have iman or not. And the third is we will know the path of how to acquire iman. Because this book, Quran, right, there is no doubt in it. La rayba fi. It has no doubt in it. It guides only who there are muttaqeen. Right? So if you look at all of the things, right, in Surah Baqarah, the beginning of Surah Baqarah, you'll realize that all of these things that we've talked about, they are going in sequence. يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. Ghaib doesn't mean things that are unseen. Ghaib means that you have this tabsiratul fitna that makes you see reality which is unseen for others. Okay? So inshallah, it's not about like, oh, we believe in barzakh. Yeah, barzakh can be seen. There are people who can see barzakh. What it's ghaib means here is that for things that other people cannot see, the person who believes can see. And they have faith in those. The things that other people, yu'minuna bil ghaib. Qiyamah can be seen, has been seen. Okay? With me? So, inshallah, if these things connect, then when you are reading the Holy Quran, with the ayat of Quran, all of these things, they match. Inshallah, your understanding and your feeling and your relationship with the Quran will get better. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wal-'asr inna al-insana lafi khusr inna alladhina amanu wa 'amilus salihati